This is for those singers that are always trying to be perfectly in tune, always monitoring the pitch very closely, making sure they hit all the notes. You know those singers, right? So what I've found is a huge percentage of singers, even from beginner, amateur, all the way through to professional, who have this thing that they do not need to monitor their pitch closely like they think they do. You know, that often comes from a comment that they had in their past about, oh, you're just a little bit flat all the time, or something that's been said ages ago that doesn't apply anymore. Now, this is proved by distraction, because distraction, when I use it, that could be movement, silly voices, dancing, emotion, or something. It proves the point, because what it does is it pushes out of their consciousness the need to monitor their pitch. And instead, what they're focusing on, if they really do focus on it, is doing that silly voice, or, you know, doing that movement in a particular way, right? And what that does is the singer is usually very surprised at, like, wow, I actually was really fine in terms of my tuning. Like, I didn't miss a single note. And that is an amazing tool at saying, now that is why you don't need to monitor your pitch that closely, because it's kind of going on in the background. Now, really importantly, what that's going to do is enhance learning for that singer, because you can't necessarily give them a new instruction, teach them a new technique and ask them to apply it in the song, because there's no room in their consciousness for a new instruction if all they're thinking about and focusing on is the pitch, right? So we have to force that out of their attention in order to get other instructions in there, to apply new techniques. So this is really massive for those people who don't appear to be taking on new instructions very well. What you do then is you ask the question, so what is it you're thinking about when you sing that song? What's going through your mind? And it's so often it is, I'm just making sure I'm reaching all the notes, getting all the notes. And then if that's the case, you know why that learning is stumped then, right? It's not going to happen unless you can get out of that. Now, lastly, when I explain this, I often use the analogy of watching a fire alarm until it goes off, right? Nobody does that. Why? Well, the alarm will tell you if there's a problem. You don't need to sit and watch it. You can go and do other things way more productive. That's the purpose of an alarm. Now, your ears and your brain, they're going to do that for you. If you go out of tune, you're going to notice, okay? But if you know the song pretty well, sung it through a few times, there's a blueprint in your head for that song, then you can pretty much assume that the pitching's going to be fine until you hear that it isn't. And that way you don't need to sit there and focus on it. It will be okay. You just apply and do other things that are way more productive. So next time you have a singer who is just taking way too much attention to monitor the pitch, instantly move to distraction of some kind to push that out of their focus. Prove to them that they don't need to look at it that closely. If the singer is struggling taking on new instructions, just be sure that they're not devoting all of their attention to the pitch. And then finally use the analogy of the fire alarm to reinforce the point that you don't need to sit and wait for it to go wrong. Let the feedback of your ears do that for you, and you'll have a much nicer ride with singing all round. So, hey, listen, if you're a coach and you've got techniques that you use around this and experiences, leave me a comment, send me a message. Let's have a discussion around this.